If you're having suicidal thoughts or feelings or feel like you have no hope, please call 988. There, you can talk to someone who not only cares about your story, but cares about you. Please reach out today. Thomas P. Murphy once said, "Minutes are worth more than money. Spend them wisely." At Minutes Wisely, we take that to heart. Our mission is to decrease veteran suicide by providing life-changing experiences for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. We believe that we can make a lasting impact by rekindling a sense of purpose and fostering community through sponsored tickets to sporting events. These experiences are not just about the game, they're about the moments that can change lives. A simple sporting event can boost joy and instill a sense of renewed hope and purpose for those who have served. Join us in making a difference, become a moment maker, and empower a veteran with rediscovered hope. Visit minuteswisely.com for more information and to get involved. Together, we can make every moment count.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of TSP. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
All right. So I started this podcast 4.5 years ago, and my idea was to sit down and talk to veterans and get their life stories. Usually I have a co-host with me, Andrew, but he's in Philadelphia this week with the opening of the Tun Tavern. So you get just me today again. So usually we'll just start off with introduction. So would you like to take a few minutes to introduce yourself, like where you grew up, how was high school and all that fun stuff, and obviously your name?
Yeah, so my name is Markivus Nious. I go by Mark. Grew up a military brat, so I'd say I grew up all over. We would move like every 3 years. So I would say, I guess I would say Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. That's where I graduated high school, and then that's where I joined the Navy. So been all over the world, and yeah, that's in a nutshell, high level.
What year did you join the Navy?
I joined the Navy in 1996. So
How many years did you do?
I did 5.5, 6 years.
Yeah, and what was your job?
I was an air traffic controller.
Nice.
Yeah.
My brother was the air traffic controller in the Navy also.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. So he was the AC. I like to say, so growing up in military, one of the highlights or a joy was we were stationed in San Diego, and my mom worked across the street from Fightertown, USA. So when Miramar used to be a naval air station, she got to meet some of the pilots that flew for Top Gun. One of her bosses was in the scene where they were singing "You Lost That Love and Feeling," and naval aviation is what got me. Top Gun was my recruitment tool before I even knew I wanted to join the Navy.
I think it was a huge recruitment tool back then.
Yeah.
So I think I wonder if your mom and I ever crossed paths, because I was actually on the carrier when they filmed the flight ops for Top Gun. Two of my shipmates actually made the cut. They're in the movie.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, she worked across the street from Fightertown, USA. She retired Chief Yeoman.
I was a yeoman.
Really, man, it is a small world, man. Yeah, she was, her Chief Austin. It was Chief Nious, then Chief Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was on an aircraft carrier. I was on the Carl Vinson, but we were home ported up in Alameda, California.
Okay. Yeah. Was that the Bay Area, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Small.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's no longer there, but that was a great little base.
Yeah. So I was West Coast Navy as well. I was stationed NES Lemoore, and then of course the USS Bonhomme Richard, which was ported in San Diego when I served.
Yeah. So back when you went to boot camp, was there just one boot camp, or was there still three at that time?
It was only one. It was what we call it RTC Great Lakes, or Great Lakes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I went also. But when I went in, I was, a few years before you, but there was three of them. There was Orlando, Great Lakes, and San Diego. Now there's only the Great Lakes.
Man. Yeah, that would be it. You know what? As a matter of fact, I want to say my mom went to the one in Florida when she was in.
So that's probably true, because back then they sent all the females to Orlando.
Okay, that makes sense.
They kept them separated. Now everybody's just all together. So yeah. So
man, It is a small world.
Yeah, for real. So, I was going to ask you what made you decide to join the Navy, but I think it's quite evident.
Yeah, it was pretty much all I knew growing up. Matter of fact, my dad served, and then also my stepdad, he was a senior chief recruiter. And oddly enough, at the time, junior year of high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was actually two of my friends that were like, "Hey, let's join the Navy," and I was like, "Ah." And then my senior year, I got an internship at a radio station, and I actually had a summer job working at the radio station. And then my stepdad asked me, like, "Hey, what do you really want to do?" And I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what, the Navy wouldn't be I mean, that's all I knew growing up. But how he got me was he was like, what about being an air traffic controller? And like a majority of people, I thought the air traffic controllers were the ones that would, marshal the planes in.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, no. He was like, let's watch Top Gun. And he showed me the scene where they buzz the tower. And he's like, it's just like your radio station job, but you'll be talking to airplanes. And I was like, you know what? I could do that. Yeah. So yeah.
It's a very stressful job.
Yeah, it is. I would say in my experience, I guess with military, you're dealing with a lot of faster aircraft. Because once I got out, I got an FAA, and I found FAA to be a lot more stressful.
Do you still do that today?
No, I now I do flight operations, so I'm kind of behind the scenes now, like dealing with the airspace and then the planning portion. Yeah, it got a little bit too stressful. Like my last gig was at Dulles, and it was like there's more stuff I can do behind the scenes while I'm not actually controlling planes that are moving around in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother ended up retiring. He moved from the Navy right into FAA, and he retired out of the FAA. So he's probably got, well, I don't know, 30 years of air traffic control under his belt. It's crazy.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it's weird because I didn't really I didn't really think deep into what I did. And if you think deep into that job, it could, yeah, like I've had shipmates that would really like one of my roommates, for example, I was stationed in Lemoore when Kennedy unfortunately had his fatality. And my roommate was like, man, if we were controlling them and, really digging deep into the nuts, I'm like, it's not, I mean, it's sad, but I don't want to get too deep into the woods and what ifs. So,
Yeah. Yeah, my brother had lost a plane on both the in the Navy and in his civilian job. Man, that's something you gotta carry with you for the rest of your life. It's pretty
yeah.
deep.
And luckily, the only thing that I saw was smoke in the cockpit while they were taxiing. And, we called the crash crew.
Yeah.
Nothing really big. I think the only thing that I saw that I wasn't directly involved with, there was a flight, I think it was Alaskan airline. It flew out, it took off in Los Angeles, and it crashed into the ocean. I just happened to see it on radar when I was in Lemoore. I seen it squawk emergency and then disappear. And then my supervisor was like, turn on the news. And I was like, wow, we just watched the plane go down. But I wasn't directly controlling it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I could handle that job, man. I'll stick being a yeoman. Did so where was air traffic control school at? Your A school?
I was in Pensacola, so it was in the Naval Air Technical Training Center, Pensacola, Florida. A funny thing about that, so I went to boot camp in August. So mind you, graduated high school in Mississippi, went to New Orleans. So from New Orleans to RTC, so the South, August to October. October is really cold for me. So I was one of the first people on the boat to get to Pensacola. Boat, I mean the bus to, ship out.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. I don't think my brother went to Pensacola. I wonder when they moved the
So they had it. It was it Memphis? I mean, it was Millington.
Millington.
So
Yeah, that's where
yeah,
he
it
went.
was in
Yep,
Millington.
that's where he went.
Yeah, so Millington, Tennessee, and I think Pensacola opened up around 90. Yeah, because it was brand new when I went. So I was one of the first few students. It was like nice and brand new. I was excellent.
Yes, the Bonnie Dick is what sailors called your ship. But what? So it was a carrier, but it was like a small carrier.
Yeah, so it was an amphibious ship, LHD, so amphibious assault ship, carried 3,000 personnel. So we transported Marines, and we had like the LCAC that would, come out of the back of the ship. It would fill up with water. Yeah. And that boat was commissioned in 1998. So it was, well, I say fairly new now, but Yeah, it was a fairly new ship.
Yeah, so you guys didn't have catapults. But you had fixed wings, but they weren't catapult.
Yeah, so we had the AVH, the Harriers, and then we had Helos, like Chinooks. What else did we have? CH-46s. Yeah, so it was AVHs and Helos on the
Yeah. Did you guys do a Westpac?
Yeah, so I did a Westpac in 2000. We also did what else did we do? We went to like was it when they we also went to San Francisco Fleet Week. We went to San Francisco for Fleet Week, and then we went to Cabo, and unfortunately 9/11 happened, and we had to ship out. We shipped out on December of 2001. So I got there in 2000, and these were the revolutions that happened. And then in between, we did like workups and operations, like training operations.
Bro, well. Did you guys ever do a rim pack?
No, not while I was on.
That was a pretty fun cruise. It's basically a 2-month cruise, and you're training with all of our allied support. So all these countries get together and they do mock war drills, but it's all based around Hawaii. So you get to stop in Hawaii a couple different times.
No, we didn't get
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, we called it the Pineapple Cruise.
the Pineapple Cruise. So you want to know what's ironic? And we're talking about how much it's a small world. So one of my colleagues, you know about the Tiger Cruise.
Oh, yeah.
So one of my colleagues, 22 years ago, no, actually. So when we did our Tiger Cruise, 24 years ago, his dad was actually a chief that worked on the ship with me. So I'm now working with his son. And then like 24 years ago when he was younger, he was on the Tiger Cruise on the same ship. And I'm just like, wow,
That is cool.
it's crazy how much of a small world it is.
Yeah. How many continents did you guys hit?
So we hit, let me see, when I got on, we're in Bahrain. We did Singapore, Australia.
Yeah.
Let's see if we did Guam. And then on the way back, it was like, just the Malaysia area, Middle Eastern area, and then back to California. Back to California.
Which port in Australia?
Yeah. We did Brisbane, and then of course we did Sydney.
Yeah. So we stopped in Australia too, but we were on the other side. We went to Perth.
Okay.
And it was that was in like 1986. We spent Christmas and New Year, so it was 86, 87 there. We were there for like 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, they gave us we're on a 7-month cruise. Our Westpac was 7 months, and they sent us there, and that was kind of like our Christmas break. So we spent Christmas and New Year's in Perth, Australia. It was amazing.
Wow. Yeah, I know. During for Operation Enduring Freedom, we spent like New Year's Eve in Singapore. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we were in Singapore also. I didn't really expect Singapore to be such a nice city.
It's very, very clean, very clean. Being immaculate and very clean. I'm so sorry, man. These pups over here.
Yeah, you're good. We're pup friendly. Mine's laying right here. Yeah. So did the shutdown affect your job this time around?
Yes, it did. Yeah. So I worked for aviation. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be as long as it was going to be. And actually, this is my first shutdown. But luckily, me and the missus, it didn't really impact us financially. We just had to cancel some trips, and hopefully January it won't be the same situation. But yeah, it impacted me and my work colleagues.
Yeah, are you back to work now?
Yep, I'm back to work, and I was not furloughed. I'm accepted, so it was work as usual for me.
Yeah. So did you get your back pay yet?
They're saying that we should get it on the 21st or 24th. So I'm hoping. Yeah, it's a smooth transition. The guidance is the 21st through the 24th.
Yeah, I love how the government uses American people as pawns, to get what they want. It's crazy.
Yeah, and and I was telling a lot of my friends that don't work in aviation, it's like as a controller or somebody that works in flight operations, when I was in the Navy, one of the best advice I got was like, before you walk into this building, any issues you have going on in your personal life, you leave it at the door. And I say that to say that one thing that you don't want a controller, somebody that's critical, mission critical, or critical to safety, is to worry about finances.
Yeah.
So I told a lot of my friends, like, if you don't have to travel via air, I wouldn't. And already we have a strain on our system. And like you said, the slap in the face is like feeling like a pawn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I just feel like, unfortunately, right now, federal employees, we have a target on our back when there's some of us, a lot of us who served, and a lot of us that take pride in what we do.
Right. Yeah. Did so when you were pulling in a port, did you have to man the rails?
I manned the rails when we left for Operation Enduring Freedom. I was actually talking to one of my colleagues about that. Yeah, when we left December of 2001.
Yeah. Man, for some reason, my Master Chief always made me do it every single time we left port or pulled in. I was always the one to do it. I mean, it was cool. I did it for when we pulled into Pearl Harbor a couple times, and man, that was emotional. Look,
Yeah.
you're towering over everything, and you're looking down at the Arizona, and you can still see the oil seeping out of it. Man, that was crazy.
Wow. For me, it was kind of bittersweet because here we are, 9/11 happened, and until we left, we didn't know what was going on. I remember like going into work when we're important, the radars are on. It's like, are we leaving? Are we leaving? And then we got told 2 weeks prior. We had an all hands event, and the CEO was like, hey, there's a 99.9% chance that we're going to go support Operation Enduring Freedom. So we got 2 weeks notice. We had to get everything in order, 2 weeks. And then here it is, we leave. I'm manning the rails. San Diego is beautiful, but we're going into the unknown. We're going to fight a war, which I didn't mind because, hey, this is what I signed up to do. And it was just like, I just remember just standing there like, we're going out into the unknown. This is such a beautiful sight, and just being really conflicted. Right? And then just afterwards, we manned the rails. Like, all right, let me get my head in the game. We're gonna support our country.
Yeah. So you went to Australia, so you're our shellback.
Yes. So I did do the whole equator. Yeah, I am a shellback. Oh God, these dogs. Do you mind if I close the door?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Getting a little rowdy this morning. It's always the smaller ones that are the local. Yeah. So a funny story about the shellback experience. So one of my colleagues, he was like, I call him the Eddie Murphy. He's like the clown, likes to get people riled up.
Yeah.
So they paired me with him. So I was the first person to go through and the last to go through. And then one of the embarrassing things they made me do was saying on bending knee to one of our officers. And that's when I learned that people of color, we can get sunburnt. Afterwards, I felt sick and like just my skin was like irritated. I went down to medical on the ship and they're like, yeah, you got sunburnt. So we had a lot of people on the boat, a lot of people with no shaved chits for a while because a lot of people got sunburnt. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people of color, did you happen to run into any racism while you're on the ship?
Not on the boat, but on my first duty station and NAS Lemoore. With my mom being a chief, she helped me drive from Pensacola to NAS Lemoore. When I went to PSD, my mom helped me check in, and one of the guys, the personnelman that worked, one of the yeomen that worked at PSD, told my mom to check me put on her uniform and go with me to check into my my first duty station. Reason being, unbeknownst to me, they were under investigation from the EEOC. They had a newly African-American airman that they revocated. And there was some racial issues behind that. At that time, I didn't know. My mom didn't, and I'm glad she didn't tell me. But that experience in my first duty station, there were a lot of racism.
Yeah.
And then later, come to find out, actually a couple of years ago, one of my shipmates revealed that one of the chiefs didn't care too much about African Americans. So yeah,
That's messed up, man.
yeah.
So is there anything that you learned while your time in the military?
Yeah. So one thing that I appreciate is with the FAA or with being a controller in the Navy, they cross train you. So they train you at air traffic control school. They train you to be a radar controller, tower controller, and work in flight planning. Then also, it was always told and instilled to be fluid. One thing that you do as a controller, you anticipate. You want to anticipate what the airplane is going to do. And then they also have anticipated separation. So they teach you to think ahead and anticipate what the plane is going to do. So that instilled situational awareness, and then also in life being fluid. And then also when you're on a ship, shipmate,
Yeah.
that the outside world, once you leave that port, you can't control what goes on when you leave. So it taught me to be fluid, to also look ahead, see the big picture. And then, when things happen that are out of your control, only worry about what you can control.
Right. Yeah. I wish that the civilian world would take some pages out of the military because, for instance, how long was your air traffic control school?
So I went in February and no, I'm sorry. I went in October and I graduated in February, October, November, December, January, 5 months.
So, yeah, to do that job in the civilian world, you'd have to go get a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Here's the militaries. They just take an 18-year-old kid, give him a crash course, 5-month crash
Yeah.
course, and say, "Okay, here, go land this airplane." Like,
Multi-million-dollar fighter.
yeah, that's amazing to me, It would
And,
take
and
it and then you'd take you years of, experience to even, like, to do what a 18, 19-year-old kid would do in the military.
yeah. And then also that's what is it, high stress. Like now I work flight operations, it's like behind the scenes. And some people as far as like pressure and stuff. And I'm like, look, to help people put things in perspective, I'm like, do you know what a bad day was when I was controlling aircraft? A bad day is if somebody died. And I'm like, nobody died today. We're like, your
Yeah.
bad day is not really, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but let's perspective.
Did you guys ever have any flight deck mishaps?
We did. We had a flight deck. Unfortunately, we had some Marines die. Was it 2000? We're doing flight ops off the coast of San Diego, and the helos were doing hop to hop from different aircraft, from like different aircraft carriers and amphibious ships. And unfortunately, I forget what ship it was. They landed not on our ship, but they tipped over, and it was like December. I want to say December 2000.
Yeah. That's pretty wild, like, in the Navy, even if you're in peacetime, you're always training like you're at war, so
Yes.
any moment, working a deck is most dangerous job on the planet. I don't care if we're in war or not. It's crazy.
And I have the utmost respect for people that work deck. Matter of fact, one of my shipmates, he worked on the flight deck, and 20 years after, we're still going to the VA, and like a lot of stuff that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we used to joke that even in the water tasted had a hint of JP5 or jet fuel, and come
Yes.
to find out one of my disabilities is my digestive system because of
Yeah. I tell people that all the time, like, the water you drink out of the Scuttlebutt, and it's like, it smells and tastes like JP5, man.
yeah.
How do you cross that up? Makes no sense.
And then, and this is crazy. So on the boat, I had a skin condition, and I never knew what it was, but they were like, when you get off the boat, when you get out of the Navy, it'll go away. So don't worry about it. So then we were in port, the condition would go away. But then when I was on the ship, and they're like, oh, it's because of the water, the hard salt water. I actually, when I first checked into the VA here, the doctor looked at it, and then he was like, Mark, he was like, okay, do you know about the PACT Act? Told me about the PACT Act, asked me questions. No, no, no. And he's like, we're going to have to do a toxic chemical exposure. And I was just like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah, did you go through that? What was that like, going through the toxic exposure thing?
I'm still waiting to get the,
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm going through it right now because I have some issues, and, my doctor asked me if I've been through the PACT Act yet, and I was like, "No." So I'm in the middle of that also.
yeah. And I actually have 21st, I have like a dermatology because I do have some scars from that. And then next is the toxic chemical exposure. But I got upset because it's like nobody explained. It was just like, hey, when you get off the ship, it'll go away.
Yeah,
When it went away. So
yeah,
I never thought about it.
right. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Those bastards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, they really do expose you to a lot of, bad things, and then, when your time is up, they say, "Okay, here you go. Here's your last check, and see you later." They don't give you no direction or, like, "This might happen or that might happen. You might have asthma or you might have breathing issues," like, all that, exhaust and fumes and JP5 and AFFF. I mean, all this stuff just builds up in your system, man.
And now now, like, I pay attention to NAS Lamore. Oh, goodness, these dogs.
Your
Um,
dogs.
I pay attention because now there's a whole bunch of lawsuits going on in different bases. And like you said, with the AFFF,
Yeah.
so at NAS Lamore, this lawsuit went from, hey, just the outside, then, hey, the whole base, and now 5 miles outside of the base.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Yeah, I may have worked in the tower, but I went to the cafeteria on the outside. Yeah, I've been exposed to this. And now people
Yeah.
outside of the base. And what I tell some of my colleagues, when I'm on Facebook, we have a U.S. Maham Rashard group, and it seems like every 3 months I'll see a shipmate and they're bald headed. Hey, I'm on my way to chemo. It's, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm going through right now. I have cancer and,
I'm starting to hear that.
yeah, I mean, I'm doing alright. I had a surgery in April, but, I looked it up and, every cancer that I have, prostate cancer is, if you go to Google and type AFFF or prostate cancer, boom, right away, like, you get a whole bunch of stuff. Definitely keep on it for the I mean, something you gotta be worried about for the rest of your life.
Okay. Yeah, that's and that matter of fact, one of my best friends, he had prostate cancer. And I told him, Army vet, we were serving in Lemoore at the same time. And he worked at the vet and then he did the food inspection. And I told him, like, after I found out about this lawsuit, I was like, Jay, I'm pretty sure you got that being in Lemoore. And then another thing they have is called Valley Fever, because the more they have they have all the agriculture, the milk farms. They also do like cabbage and stuff like that. It's nothing but agriculture and fields. And we were exposed to the pesticides.
Yep.
So I have another friend that, he has like medical issues with the pesticides. And they had this thing called Valley Fever. Some people got Valley Fever. So who knows what we all got exposed to just being there
Yeah.
as well.
Who was your most influential person in your time in the service? Did you have somebody that you looked up to?
Oh yeah, there was a guy named Shorn Samuel. He was a AC-1, Big Sam, very laid back guy, and he had all types of advice. He was like a big brother, and then also going into that environment and not knowing what I was gonna deal with. He was also a person of color. For example, there was a time where it was me and another person of color, and we're both new, fresh out of A school, where you first go to flight planning. So flight planning is like the admin side where you do the paperwork. The pilot comes in, hey, I want to do a flight plan. You draw up the flight plans for them. It's a non-controllable job. It's like an admin job where you help them do their flight planning, and then if you need to do search and rescue and things of that nature. We're two new guys in the Navy, and there was one guy named Beauchamp, like just a redneck. I mean, man, every day it would be something. And one day they were like, so, what kind of alcohol do you guys drink? What are you talking about? What? And then I'm like, what do you guys drink? No, we don't drink them brother drinks. But there was one time it was like a very tense racial issue. So we went upstairs and got Big Sam. So these were two E4s, we're E3s. And Big Sam just went down and he handled it. And he helped coach us through without saying so many words. Like,
Yeah, yeah, right.
when things like this happen, you have to call it out. You have to document these things, and just kind of just guided us. And one thing that he always said is like, you have to pay the cost to be the boss, and I just
Yeah,
always remember that. And it just gave us guidance as far as like air traffic control. Cause yeah, that was one guy that was definitely a mentor.
yeah, that's awesome, man. You still talk to AC-1?
Yeah, he's actually he's a controller for up there in Oakland Center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at one time before I got back into the federal government, I used to work at American Airlines. I was a program manager, and my Arab expertise was like cross-polar, Russian, Asia Pacific region. So every 6 months, I would have to go to this working group. They call it the cross-polar working group. No, I'm sorry, the Oceanic Working Group, and I would have to go to Livermore, California. And it was like a working group with the airlines and then air traffic control. And you had American Airlines, the big three, and then you would also have like Asian airlines, and we would just all collaborate. Okay, here's a new air traffic initiative, and as it being like we would get to tour Oakland Center. So there was AC-1 Sam, and then there was another AC-1 that worked at Oakland Center. I would go meet up with them. They would give me a tour. So I think the last time I saw him, because I went back into the federal government when COVID happened. So last time I saw him was like 2000, 2020.
All right on. Shout out AC1 Sam.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you think the your time in the military and the Navy shaped your life, your path?
Yeah, it gave me a foundation, it gave me a very good foundation. And even I have another friend. He was oh man, he was ETC. And I can't think of his last name. Darnell Ford. So it gives you a foundation, and then I'm pretty sure you can relate this as well. The friends that you meet in the military, it is for life.
Yeah.
And you can go without seeing a person for years or even talking for a while. And once you guys click, you click. It helped my network. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for my network. And then it gives you adaptability. I grew up, like I said, I grew up throughout the whole United States. So I could easily go for example, when COVID hit, and they let go of 30% of the management, and I was part of management, and we didn't know how bad this was going to be when I worked at the airline, and a lot of people like, this is going to be just as bad as 9/11. I was able to, again, plan ahead and say, okay, let me pivot, let me see what I can find in the federal sector. Ended up moving from there to getting a job at the AMC, up Air Mobility Command at Scott, and then pivot again and then move out here. Had I not been in the military, I wouldn't have been able to like make those moves and be able to adapt.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you were presented like a young kid, 18-year-old kid in high school, and he's thinking about joining the military, what type of advice would you give him?
I would say, observe. Like just pay attention, be quiet, and observe when you get in, and don't give yourself undue attention.
Yeah,
And
for
just
sure.
take it all in. And there are going to be days where you're really not gonna like it, but those days would be worth it. I would not be where I'm at had it not been for the military. So when I worked at American Airlines, being a program manager, it was me and a retired Marine loadmaster. Whenever there was an interview and there was a military personnel, a person that was a veteran interviewing for the job, they would bring us in because we would have to kind of explain some of the military nuances or things they didn't understand. But I knew that person's work ethic, and I knew what school they came from. Like I would say 90% of the time I endorsed that person.
Yeah.
And it came well. It gives you a foundation. Not only does it give you you have the educational side as well that you should take advantage of, but it also gives you life experience, which is also priceless.
Yes, 100%, man. So yeah, that's some solid advice, man. If you're thinking about joining the military and you go into boot camp, and just shut the fuck up and do what they say and stay low key. Like my entire goal the whole time was like, I didn't even want them to know my name. Just stand in the back and do what they tell you to do.
So when I graduated, they were like, "Why didn't you tell us your dad was a senior chief?" I'm like, I didn't want you guys to know anything about me. but I have to tell the story, and I remember it clear as day because I was talking about boot camp, and I'm like, I remember everything like it was yesterday. So we had a guy that just kept asking questions as soon as we got off the boat, as soon as we got off the bus, and they called him Question Man. The whole time we were processing in from getting off the bus, they made him have his hand raised the whole time. And I was like, note to self, just shut the fuck, don't say nothing.
Fuck up, man.
Yeah. They're like, all right, Question Man, you got any questions? The whole night.
Yeah. Don't try to be funny. Don't try to be a smart ass, man. Just do it and get it over with. Don't make it hard on yourself. That's for sure.
No.
Don't ever volunteer, man. Like, so when I was in Great Lakes, I'm from Detroit, so I was already used to the cold weather. But Great Lakes is right in Chicago, right? So
yeah.
And I went in January 20.
Oh my goodness, that was like day after my birthday.
Yeah, it was 3 days before my birthday, so I spent my birthday in boot camp. But it was snowing like hell up there, and the company commander says, "Hey, has anybody here never seen snow before?" Man, like a dozen guys raised their hand. I was like, oh, man, I saw this coming a mile away. Like, oh, you never saw snow before? Grab a shovel and get outside.
Man.
Hey, don't ever raise your hand, man. You got to be smarter than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
you know something bad's coming. You just
No.
volunteered yourself.
They say never again volunteer yourself, Navy.
Yes. Yeah, I really loved my time in the Navy. It really molded who I am and definitely put me on a different path than where I was going when I was a teenager. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would not be the same person without it.
Like my colleague, shipmate, brother, and mentor, ET1 Darnell Ford. Well, he actually retired at ETC. You know, I go through life struggles, and I'll call him. And one thing he says is like, Mark, your military training has prepared you for this. Like we had with the shutdown. So I'm talking to him. He's like, Mark, you know, your military training has prepared you. And he's like, in moments of despair right now, you should see opportunity. And this was opportunity for me and the missus to be like, you know what, we're not hurting this double income, but we can tighten our budget more.
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, hey, now we have to be aware we're only funded till January. So let's plan, you know, be optimistic. What's it called? Cautiously optimistic
Yeah.
that this won't happen again. But yeah, it prepares you for a lot because there's even like high stress situations. The military trainers look at the big picture, and focus on the mission. Because I feel like civilians, and no disrespect to civilians,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't look at the big picture or focus on the mission.
Yeah. I agree with that. Civilians, man, I swear, every single American should join the military and see what it's actually like. You'd have such a better
Yeah.
outlook on America. Like all these people that hate on America, like you have no idea. You've never left these borders, man. You don't know what other
Yeah.
people are living like.
Yeah. It is an experience when you are the foreigner.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's funny because when I was a program manager, so my area of expertise was Middle Asia Pacific region. I dealt with China, I dealt with Russia, and the way the Chinese deal with things is not very American. They're very rigid.
Yeah.
Fluidity is not their strong point. And just having to learn how they operate and just dealing with different, you know, different cultures and different things. And it makes you appreciate what you have here. And so when I was a program manager and COVID hit, we had to transition to make extra money. We had to transition to a cargo airline. And that was crazy because we had this, you know, change our operations. We had to extend work hours. And the people I worked for, I was also like an HR, well, my old boss called me the people-y person. So I would check on my people, and a lot of people would complain. And I'm like, look, you guys don't realize, like, this airline is hanging by a thread. This is what's going to make us money. Don't complain. This is saving your job right now. And I used to just be baffled, like, big picture, you know, nothing's guaranteed. And it used to just annoy me, like, you guys don't realize what's going on. And look at the big picture.
Yeah. When people complain about this country and they, you know, whatever president is in office, you're gonna have 50% of the country that hates them, and they're gonna want to move out of the country, and they're very vocal about, I'm moving out of the country. This is gonna suck. And I always go back to when I was in Mombasa,
Hmm.
Kenya. A lady approached me. I was walking down the street right downtown Mombasa. I was right by the I don't know if you remember, like from National Geographic or high school, there's big, huge elephant tusks that cross the road.
Yeah.
I was right over there by that. And
Wow.
this lady that was, you know, most places I went to, a lot of people spoke English. Not in Mombasa. It's a very, very, very third world country-ish type scenario. And this lady, she approached me with a newborn baby, and she only spoke Swahili, so there
Hmm.
was no communication. But I was getting what she was trying to say. It was a newborn baby, and she was crying, and she's trying to give me the baby.
Wow.
Her situation was so bad and she loved her baby so much that she was willing to give it to a complete stranger to take it back to America. And that always, whenever I see somebody bashing our country, I'm like, man, you want out of this country so bad. I guarantee you there's somebody out there that will trade places with you and be happy to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Stop complaining and understand what you have in this country. It blows my mind.
And like even now, you know, a lot of people don't understand the ins and outs of the federal government or
Yeah.
all the jobs of the federal government and how the federal government helps to ensure that, you know, the have-nots have. Our
Yeah.
country is safe. Our roads are good, you know, wildlife and parks. And it bothers me because some people like, oh yeah, the federal government. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to get a federal government job? How much more you have to do
Right.
than a regular civilian job? What assessments you have to take? And I'm like, do you realize the veterans side of that? Like, we join the military because we want to serve. We go into the federal government because we also want to. You have to take an oath when you're a federal employee, and that right now, because even with the shutdown, people would check in with us like, hey, how are you guys doing? And a lot of people were like, the money part, yeah, that sucks. But the other part is the perception of what we do, who we are. And yeah, there are that 10% or that 2% of people that are lazy. But it's
Yeah.
like, man, no, there's a lot of things that we do. And then on top of that, we worked for free for 41 days. And some of our jobs they're very stressful and critical. Like, don't question our patriotism and our
Yeah.
professionalism.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know the president has a huge job, but he doesn't really define who our country is, man. So you don't like the president. So what? In 4 years, vote for the next person, like
Yeah.
get over it. It's still your commander in chief. Like just, I don't, I've liked the president since Ronald Reagan. So, but I just deal with it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whoever's sitting in the office doesn't determine what I do when I get up out of bed and I go do my daily thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal in the whole scope of things, but it doesn't really control what I do every day. So get over it, man.
No, life goes on. Like, we gotta live.
Exactly.
We gotta carry on our day to day. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry. In 4 years, we can bitch about somebody else. I mean, it'll never be utopia in a perfect world, right?
Nah, it'll never be perfect. It'll never be perfect. Yeah, because I remember, you know, um, when George W. Bush was president before 9/11, it was like, oh man, we getting all this money, we doing all this stuff. 9/11 happens, and we're out to
Yeah.
see there. People are bitching. I'm like, hey man, we got our raises, and this is what we signed up to do.
Right. Yeah.
Let's just get it done and move on.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between veterans and civilians, though. In the military, they teach you, whether if you don't like this guy or not, you still have to respect his seat,
Yeah,
and just move on.
yeah, yeah. Because we've always had that. We've had that where we had to do a mission or something. Hey, we don't like it. We don't understand it. But hey, that's the assignment.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it.
Yep. Yeah.
Bitch about it later. Don't bitch about it before. Just go do your job and then
Yeah.
bitch about it later.
You know what? And I think that's so when people complain, I ask them, I'm like, do you have a solution? If you have a solution, okay, let's do it. If you don't have a solution, you're complaining. I don't
Right.
want
Exactly.
to. And I
Exactly.
think I got that from the military.
Yeah. Hey, before we wrap it up, I just want to talk about your transition and from military life to civilian life. Can you walk us through that?
So yeah, so when I got out, this was before. So the FAA was really like, it was closed, and then this was like, this was like 2002. It wasn't electronic. It was like all paperwork. So it was kind of like it was like a block. And one thing that I had to learn was, so I had this highly technical specified skill set, but I was in a holding pattern because it was kind of locked down. I had to thank God for the GI Bill. So I went to school in San Diego and kind of had to adapt and kind of transition my skill sets until I got into back into the aviation job. So from then I kind of transitioned to going to school, doing like customer service jobs, the Hartford Insurance, Fidelity Investments, and waiting to get a foot back into the door to back into air operations. But in that time frame, I also learned about flight planning, got my flight dispatcher's license, got other aviation certifications. I say all this to say that one of the challenges that I had was transforming my military, or actually dissecting my military skill sets as a whole, and just like, okay, I got leadership skills out of this, okay, communication skills out of this, able to deal with high stress environments, translating that all into one big holistic resume for the civilian world. But once I was able to learn how to do that, not only do I have air traffic control, I have flight planning, I have program manager, airspace. I was able to work for a flight planning software company. So now I know how to be an administrator. Like another one of my jobs at American was I was the administrator for the flight planning program that would calculate the flight plans and things like that. So that's what speaks to the fluidity and then cross training within the Navy, different parts of air traffic control.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today, and also thank you for your service, man. We really appreciate that. Is there anything that you want to tell the world before you shut it down? Is there anything going on in your life? Anything that you want to sell? What's going on in your personal life?
Yeah, so I also do like I'm on a IMDb. I also do I have two podcasts, a Deeper Than Music podcast where I interview celebrities, and then I have a 40 something gamers podcast. Me and my best friend, we're nerds, we're retro gaming nerds. Like I got a
Yeah.
game right now, and then I'm also a musical artist,
Nice.
positive hip hop artist. Furys is my stage name, but I'm also transitioning. I just do music now, like instrumentals, lo-fi hip hop, relaxation music under my full name, Markivus Nious. Again, fluidity, cross training, all this from the foundation of the military. And then one more thing I want to say
Yeah.
is with veterans, because some civilians don't understand disability, us getting disability. There are scars that you do not see
Right.
that aren't on the surface. So yeah, don't be so quick to judge because you don't know. A lot of us, we don't talk about some of the traumatic stuff we went through. So that VA disability is much well earned. Like there's not a there's maybe some physical scars, but there's also scars you don't see.
Yeah. And if you want that disability, go talk to your recruiter.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an easy
Like
way for you to get it.
yeah, like you said, man, on the boat, we didn't know. When I got on the boat, I felt like in the air. I was like, this air I'm breathing doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, we got the check that yeah, we were exposed to a lot of stuff.
Yep, yep, and I don't know, I could go on forever about this, you guys bitch about us getting checks, but, like, hey, listen, you're not hacking and wheezing because you're breathing in, nasty stuff or, you didn't see people die next to you, like, how many civilian jobs that you see somebody die right next to you, I mean,
Yeah,
like, yeah, so,
and that check will never replace the quality of life of what
no,
we yeah, and yeah.
yeah, I mean, case in point, I have cancer because what I did 30 years ago, I mean, so it is what it is. All right. Thanks again for joining us. When I hit the stop button, stick around for a second because I want to make sure that we get fully downloaded here. And again, thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be a part of this. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Until next Sunday, we'll see everyone later.